Welcome back, everybody, to the Neighbor Star League here live at the Nexon Arena. We're going to jump right into an interview here with our two players, and Sojung and Kanata.
And we're waiting for our last winner, the advanced person. And let's see who will go against live tonight. I mean, for the finals.
안녕하세요, 선수들.
안녕하세요.
네, 깜짝 놀랐네요.
네.
네. 안녕하세요. 잘 지냈어요?
네.
서성민 선수는 설 연휴를 어떻게 지냈나요?
Kanata is asking the same question again for Chinese New Year.
그럼 잘못 들었습니다 한 거 아니죠? 네, 군대식 용어 나오면 안 됩니다.
긴장해가지고 제가.
네.
네.
Super says he's nervous right now.
설 연휴 그냥 집에 내려가가지고 부모님.
He says he rested at home,
네.
spent his time with his parents, and came back to Seoul, and he practiced for today.
양 선수가 되게 친한 걸로 알고 있어요.
And everyone knows that Dream and Super is really close.
서로 막 이야기하는
They're both
모습들이
from
있었는데
MVP.
어떤 이야기를 주고
And they were
받았나요?
talking before this interview, and he's asking what he talked about.
테란 못 이긴다고 징징대는 말투로.
Well, Super was whining that he's really terrible against Terrans.
준혁이를 떠보니까 저한테 안 진다는 마인드.
And Dream just said to Super that he's not going to lose against Super.
아 근데 워낙 자신감 있는 모습이 좋은 선수니까.
Well, Dream's confidence is
어제도
there,
정민정
definitely
선수
there.
상대로 2대0으로 깔끔하게 이겼잖아요.
네.
토스전만큼은 뭐 그래도 계속해서 좋은
And I
분위기를
think
이어나가고
he's
있는
still
것 같아요. 뭐 어제
ready for against
결과는 비록
process.
좋지 않았지만 뭐 잠깐 동안 이제
And
쉬면서
although yesterday's
어떻게
results weren't
보냈나요?
that
컨디션
good,
관리 위해서?
let's see what he did yesterday.
일단 조금 성민 형 이기려고 토스전 위주로 하다 보니까
Well, I
어제
practiced
저그전이 너무
my
무너진
TVPs
것 같은
to prepare
느낌이었고
for Super.
오늘 이기면 다 스트레스 다 풀릴 것 같아요.
But I think my stress
그렇죠.
will go away
아무래도
if I win
한쪽에서는
tonight.
떨어지긴 했지만 이쪽에서 우승하면 되는 거니까.
Although he did get
그쪽
eliminated
선수도
from
그런 식의
GSL, he
자신감
can
있는
advance the next round
말씀을
here.
하시는 것
So
같은데
this is
뭐
his last
특별히
chance.
코칭 스텝에서 뭐 케어를 어떤 식으로 해줬다든지 뭐 그런
Kanata
건
is asking if there was
없을까요?
any special care from the coaching staff.
팀에서 되게 개인 리그를 저 좀 밀어주는.
Well, our team has been helping me a lot with the individual league. Let me practice.
일단 연습에는 전혀 문제가
So there was
없이
no
온 것 같아요.
problem for me.
그러면 이제
preparing
마지막으로
for the
경기에
individual
들어가기 전에 상대가 4강 상대가 이승현이에요. 양 선수
And
모두.
before we go
이승현 선수를
into the
보면서
games,
어쨌든
the next
4강에 올라가면
opponent for
만나야 되는
either of these
상대인데
players will be live.
그 부분에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요?
Let's see what Dream thinks about
호신사
live.
더비가 될 수도 있고
It can be a telecom
재밌는
derby.
경기가 될 것 같은데 물론 이제 8강이 더 중요하긴 하겠지만
네.
별 생각 없어요. 이승현이 먼저 올라가는 거 보고.
앞 경기 다 봤거든요.
Well, I saw the former
승현이
matches today,
잘하는 것 같아서.
and I think life is really good. He did really well
성민
tonight.
형이 올라가면 솔직히 못 이길 것 같아요.
Well, I think if Super advances, I don't think he has any chance against
너무
live.
잘하더라고요, 승현이. 그래서 제가
And live was
올라가야
really good today. So,
그래요?
but that's why I think I need to advance today.
두 명을 동시에
He's doing that trash talk.
네, 그런 식의 조지욱 선수의 자신감 있는
And we
인터뷰였는데
can still
성민
Dream's
선수도 잊힐 수
confidence.
없잖아요.
And let's see what Super's got to say.
각오 한번.
준혁이가 지금 저한테 저 생각을 안 하고 지금 4강을 먼저 생각하고
I
있는
think
것
Dream isn't
같은데요.
thinking about me, but only thinking about the semi-finals.
네, 알겠습니다. 양 선수가 워낙 이제 3, 4년간 그
I
동고동락하면서
think he
생활을
needs
했기
to be
때문에 되게 친한 것
beaten up.
같네요. 그럼 전 잠시 후에 본 경기로 찾아오도록 하겠습니다.
And we'll be back for the games.
잡아주고요. 근데 분량이 너무 많아요, 테란. 약간 뭉쳐서만 보면 다시 일단 병력을 좀 많이 찍었던. 지뢰. 아닌가요, 이거는? 자, 일단 떨어졌죠.
한번 들었고요.
꺼낼 수 있었던. 라인처럼 밀었는데 지뢰들이 잔뜩 있죠. 김정아서 서성민과만 뒤에. 이번 전투 좋습니다, 조중현.
큰 어려움은
추가 소환.
결과를 보고
날아갔네요.
거실에 대한 대응을 하느라고 헛도를 지금 써버렸기 때문에 치탄병력이 지금 의료선 떨구고 재려서 감정택 찍어놓고 싸움해야 됩니다.
그러면 더 신도들은 일단은 머리 위쪽 EMP를 떠올렸습니다.
네. 일체. 바로 들어가야 됩니다. 몇 킬로? 자, APM 400 통과한 뒤에
서성이
끝났어요. Welcome back, guys. We had a pretty cool highlight video there. Actually, a lot of going back to Dream kind of crushing a lot of big opponents. This guy is really coming up big time here on SK Telecom. He's been a really uprising new player. A lot of people have been saying this guy has had potential for a long time, even since back in the day. And now he's finally coming into it after joining that SK Telecom team.
That's right. He's always been around. He's been around for many years in Starcraft 2, but finally getting off that MVP team and finding a nice Kesper team, and it seems to really be coming into his own finally. in 2015. He's been a very dominant Terran, one of the most dominant Terrans, and definitely in TVZ. I've always loved his TVZ more than anything else, except for yesterday.
Yeah, except for yesterday. They even touched on that in the interview, and his response was that he was actually practicing for his versus Protoss, which is so funny because I made a joke of it because I thought there's no way that could be possible that he would actually just like forego his GSL matches versus Zerg.
That's kind of funny, man.
Practice against Protoss, but I guess he did.
I guess he's further in this tournament than he is in GSL, so he's like, well, I might as well just go to the semifinals of the SSL and see what happens in GSL. You know, like, his TVZ is already sick. It's already disgustingly good, but bit of a hiccup yesterday.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And here's Super, kind of the dark horse of this tournament. He's on, I believe he is the only player that's not on the Kespa team that is in the round of 8. And he's made it this far. Kind of strikes me as that guy that would be able to make it to just the round of 8, though.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are doubting that he will be able to get past Dream, but let's see. You know, let's not count him out. He's surprised people in the past.
He's very good. He's done very well for himself in the past, and he's always up doing well in these individual tournaments. So I think he can. I think he just can. He might be able to upset Dream today.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of these stats over here. Dream playing most of his games against Zerg. We do talk about how quite stellar he is in that matchup, especially his Thor micro is quite nice, but he's also very, very strong against Protoss. Even though he hasn't played as many games as in the versus Zerg matchup, he's still 6-2, and that is still quite strong. So definitely look towards this guy to being good in this matchup as well. Really curious to see how this best of 5 is going to go out against a very good Protoss player in Super. Want to see his style again.
I kind of forget his style, actually, when it comes to Dream. Like, I remember his TVZ so well and his TVT because it really shocked everyone as well. He did a lot of work with that. But then thinking of his TVP, I'm like, well, damn it, I just forget it now. And it's got one of the best statistics.
Yeah, that's the funny thing.
How funny is that?
Well, we're going to see it today. And going into Super stats, he's played half of his games against Zerg. Well, these guys have a lot of games against Zerg, and he's played 8 games here against Terran. He's 5-3, above 50% win ratio. Not bad. I'm not sure exactly who his opponents were, but just the fact that he was able to get up here to the round of 8 is quite a feat in itself. It was a very hard qualifier to get through in the first place. You and I casted that entire thing over the course of the day.
That is true. That is true.
He was able to make it through that gigantic qualifier, of which the likes of players like Zess and SOS, even Sue, I believe, like didn't get out.
Yeah.
So it was hard, man. But he was able to make it. So here he is.
And here we go with the maps. It's going to be Deadwing and Merry-Go-Round are the ones vetoed out. We're going to be starting on Nimbus again, followed by Catalina again. That's going to be changing things up with King Sejong, Foxtrot, and then Overgrowth as the last map.
Yeah, Catalina probably going to be good for, or rather, both Nimbus and Catalina probably going to be good here for Dream, whereas King Sejong Station, I guess Blink Stalkers are quite nice on that map.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of a middle ground map, I guess. We have seen both races do very well on that map. Protoss, I guess, was kind of in the past the one that liked this map more, but Terran have really come into their own, especially with all this bio mine drop that we are seeing.
The bio mine drops are just deadly.
The
players who are good at that.
Yeah, we're going to see that in all 3 of the first maps, man. Like, it's going to happen.
I'm just scared because Super, the biggest thing that strikes me with him, the biggest thing that I remember in my mind when I just hear the name Super, is his incredible control. We even saw it there in the highlight video. He is like one of the best Protosses actually at controlling his units, and he's very good at Blink Micro as well. So definitely be aware of that and be scared of it.
Be afraid.
If you are a Terran player like Dream. The guys are going to jump into game number 1 here. It's going to be on Nimbus. It's going to be between Dream and Super. Let's jump into that first game. Up here in the top left in the red, the Terran player from SK Telecom T1
it is Dream.
Handsome young man.
That he is.
And to the bottom left, we do have the player originally known as Vampire. But he is super now. On Envision Esports. Envision?
Invasion.
Envision. I envision it's Invasion.
Envision.
Tomato, tomato. I'm Australian. I can say whatever I want. I like Super a lot, actually. I'm a fan of him. Just because I want him to do well. He's like the guy.
He's a really nice guy.
It's like I just want him to do well because he's a sweet kid, and I think he deserves it because he's not on the Casper team. He doesn't have the sort of resources that Dream has. All he's got is his hard work and his laddering. And damn it, that's going to be enough.
And that's what he said he did. He said he went home for the holidays, went to see his parents, and then practiced and practiced and practiced. And he definitely does need that practice here for Dream, a very strong opponent. These two players, very close friends, as they were mentioning. Both of them actually trash-talking during the interview as well.
Yeah, both of them on MVP back in the day. During that day, I did beat Dream once upon a time.
That you did, Mingley. Make sure you mention that every single time Dream comes out. Is a very important stat.
I think I played a part in him becoming who he is today.
Yeah, man. He will forever remember losing to the foreigner from Australia.
That bloody, long-haired Aussie bogan that beat him once upon a time in Poland. Never forget.
2012, never forget.
Yeah, man. 3 years it haunted him until this day, and now look at him against Zerg. He'll never make that mistake again.
Let's talk about that a little bit as well. Both of these players, if they win, and we're not saying who's going to win here. Could be Dream, could be Super. Who do you think has the better chance against Life?
I would have to say Dream. I would definitely have to say Dream.
Yeah.
Even though he looked pretty weak yesterday, losing to 2 Zergs, if he's practicing hard for the matchup, I think he'd still give him the biggest run for his money.
I would have to agree with you. In fact, Dream was even trash-talking during the interview, like you guys heard. He's like, oh, there's no way Super's going to do anything against Life if he wins against me. And then Super's like, I think Dream is not even thinking about me. I'm going to beat him first. So let's see how that comes into fruition here. What do you think about this matchup, actually? Do you think Dream or Super's going to win it just off of the beginning here before we see anything?
Before we see anything, while our eyes are still closed, Valdez, we haven't actually looked at the screens at all yet. I think it's actually going to be a long one. I think we could see a 3-2. And I think Dream's going to take it, but I think it's going to be close.
Okay. I don't know. I said Super a little bit earlier on, but now I'm feeling Dream. I don't know. He just seems very confident and just seems like overall the better player. Although Super has made it work in the past, I don't think Dream's that easy of an opponent that he's just going to be able to make it work here. But let's see how this first game plays out on Nimbus. Nimbus, a map where Terrans can definitely take advantage of the Protoss by dropping in that easy back door as well as harassing at that third base. It's quite hard for the Protoss to hold that. Oftentimes, you know, send a double drop over there, cancel that Nexus, or even just snipe it down after it's been made, and you have a very unhappy Protoss.
Yeah, it is a great map for Terran, more than anything else. So pretty much the bottom line of this map, it's Terran favored because of that airspace. But, you know, Protoss can make good use of it too. We have seen a lot of counter drops with War Prisms to make sure the Terran stays in their base for just a little while longer, giving Protoss just a little bit more space. And with this early robo, I would not be surprised after maybe a couple of observers we do see a War Prism on the map. Just for that sake.
Do you see some missile turrets coming down here? With that very early expand, he just wants to be safe. In fact, he's only going to make one. It's going to be at that natural. He's going to keep his Marines in the mineral line just in case of Oracles, waiting at that timing, and just making sure he does not take any damage. He's finally now going to tech up. Before this, he was just making 3 racks worth of units, and now he's making that factory.
Yep, kind of just a big bio opening after that CC first from Dream. Pretty standard for the map, though we don't get to see this map too often. It'll give him like a very sizable kind of Marine count early on, so he can actually apply a lot of pressure on the map and deal with any sort of blink stalker roll-ins or anything like that. That's pretty much the name of the game with this build. If we had seen it before, I think Cure versus San comes to mind on Deadwing. I remember this game still.
Oh yeah,
It was a great. It was like a perfect example of why this build is good against blink stalkers. It's because you just get too much bio early, and if the Protoss tries to be aggressive, they will fall apart because there's just too much.
Yeah. Fortunately for Super, we do see him going for that kind of standard gateway core into expand into a bunch of observers into Colossi. Double Forge now. This is about as standard as you can get for the Protoss.
This is like the bread and butter of Hero more than anyone else. He loves this style.
Oh, yeah.
Double upgrades with Colossi. We'll see if he's going to transition beyond that. Sometimes the Protosses decide not to and just go for a very heavy Zealot count. And we do see Twilight Council go down as I say that, so maybe we're going to see Charge Lots.
We could. For now, just going to see the +1/+1 begin, as well as a bunch of Colossi being made with range. And nice scouting here by Dream. He's actually scouting the entire map with a couple of Marines. Just making sure no weird shenanigans are going down. No proxies. No weird double Stargate shenanigans. No kind of Dark Shrine hidden. No Nexus hidden either.
The biggest thing would probably be the Nexus, right? Like having a hidden Nexus on the map can be a very big deal. And we have seen it before on a map like this size, just to get them ahead. But it is hard to secure that third base.
You pretend like you're just like being safe on 2 base, but actually you've got 3 bases going, and that's why you're just staying in your base.
Yep, and starting things off here. Finally the pressure's going to come. Dream going to be going for that double drop. But already 2 cannons in place, as well as 2 Colossi and a mothership not far away. I don't know how this is going to go, but probably not going to go at all.
Yeah, Dream's not even going to try for it. And looks like he's going to drop down and possibly attack at the front at this moment in time. There's just not that many units, you know? If you look at the Terran, he's got a lot of units, but based on the way the Protoss is playing very safe and just back in his base with the Mothership Core especially, you can play very defensive like this, but it's up to the Terran to try to get that damage down, and here we go. Stimming forward with 1 Marine. That's 3 Colossi. Not going to be wanting to stim into that right now.
No, it's going to be very difficult. And still, he manages to keep these Stalkers back at the natural. Going to be deflecting another drop. So, Super in a really stable position. And we're going to have to see Dream transition finally into that Viking count. And he's got already 2 starports with reactors, so he's going to get a lot of Vikings out quickly.
Yeah, very true, Moonglade. That 1 observer is a huge pain right now for Dream. It's actually scouting the entire army and exactly where it's going. There's actually a second one back there to scout it even more in detail. And if he tries to go for any big Doom drop, Super's going to know immediately what's going on. And here we go. Scan does go down, actually. He does get that observer down. He's trying to go for a drop here, but again, now there's 3 cannons.
Wow.
You're not going to be able to drop on 3 cannons.
And a photon overcharge activated, so he read that like a book. But he's going to have to be careful because the attack's going to be going to his third base now. And he still has those 3 Colossi, haven't really improved much. There's only a few force fields as well. If the bio gets a big drop on him, if he gets a nice concave and gets in just a little bit too close, could be a huge, huge loss for Super.
Yeah, Super's just got to hold on here for 2-2. That is a gigantic amount of bio. Seems like another observer went down over there.
And we're pulling the boys, Valdez. It is time. They're 1-1. They've got enough Vikings to deal with these 3 Colossus.
Yep, he's looking to hit before 2-2 finishes for the Protoss. Only 3 Colossi. That's not really going to be enough. He's got to pump out some more units here. This is a huge amount of Terran coming across the map right now.
Yeah, it's a 40 supply lead as well, so it's just a massive amount. I'm surprised he stayed on 3 Colossus. He's warped in Stalkers as well, which is not going to help. And now he sees the massive amount of units coming down. How is he going to deal with this? 1 Colossus about to drop already.
Yeah, 1 Colossus goes down. The other 2 are in the back in a decent spot, but that is just so much Vikings here. Taking down all the Colossi now. Pro's being pulled. The Nexus is already down. And this is just way too much Terran, man. GG.
GG. Really one-sided.
You know what that game kind of looked like to me? That looks like the life game versus Deer, just like a different matchup.
I know,
where
right?
Life like made a giant army and then killed his opponent, and his opponent was not ready.
Yeah, it really was that one-sided. It's another one of these star players we have in this tournament against a player that, you know, can do damage, can do work, can take games, but pretty damn one-sided first one.
Yeah. The thing about Super is that he's like super solid. He's a very good player, but also his style is very, very predictable. You know, I feel like I've seen him do that before against Terran as well, and Dream just knows exactly when to hit. He's like, okay, your 2-2's going to finish at this time. I'm going to hit 30 seconds before, and you're only going to have 3 Colossi because that's what you do, and I'm going to kill you. And that's exactly what he did. So Super's, I think the burden here is on Super to change up his play style, because if not, we may just see the same thing we saw in the Life series and just see Dream do the same exact build and kill him again.
Yeah, well, Super looked very strong up until that end point. Like, he deflected everything, right? He had 3 cannons in his natural. He kind of knew how to play the map. But even though that he took no damage from harassment, he still just couldn't make